Hello and good morning. How
Hello.
are ya?
I am good. Just trying to get these earbuds to work. Couldn't connect.
Uh-oh.
Try connecting again. I
Uh,
am. Oh my
ugh.
lord.
While you're doing that, let me know if you can hear the lawnmower that's outside my window. Oh, there we go. Nice. Love it. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
I hope that's not an omen.
I know, right? We may be like, here's the good news. Like, if you're ever wondering, y'all, you can start your day over at any time, right? Like, literally, just do a
Mad
little,
facts.
yeah, and we're starting over. Like, it's a real thing. I just almost had a heart attack because all of a sudden it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock on the East Coast, and I'm like, oh, I'm totally not where I'm supposed to be yet. Anyway, this is what happens when you take a vacation. Like you come back and you're like, what am I doing? But
Yeah.
really, I was anyway. How was your weekend?
Good, I think. I'm like so tired.
Oh,
Just trying to figure it out. No, it's good. I'm excited. I'm tired because I've been up since 4:30 because last week I finally joined the gym and went to this class this morning that totally kicked my ass.
oh, I love it. Oh, that's awesome.
But it's like fun. So I actually want to go, which is good because I'm not getting up at 4:30 if I don't want to do it, That lizard brain will find a
Yes.
whole list of reasons why not to.
Yes, 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 yes. And yes, it will. Well, good. That's exciting. I'm
Yeah.
excited for you. Yeah, it's always nice. I can remember the first time that I actually wanted to get out of bed at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't think that's a moment you really forget. Like when you want to do that, you're like, wow, that's crazy. If you had told me 6 months ago that I would actually want to get out of my bed at that time in the morning, I would have called you crazy. Like that's not real. That's never going to happen for me. All of those things. So I love it. I love it. Well, welcome back, everybody. It is Monday, Mindset Monday, where independent patient advocates like us kickstart our week with positivity and inspiration. My name is Nicole Broadhurst, and I'm here with my co-host, Kayla Thompson-Riviere. And today we're focusing on intentionality. And Kayla, what is our quote this morning?
So our quote this morning comes to us from Robert Collier. And it is, success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out.
Yes. I love this. I know nobody's going to be surprised, but I love this, right?
I know, I do too.
Yeah. It's one of those things we talk about regularly, like think once, be strategic, and then consistently show up and be and execute, right? And this falls right into it.
Yes. But also that's the repeated day in and day out. But the other part of this that we cannot overlook is it does not say that success is the sum of momentous feats. No. Success is the sum of small efforts. And yes, it makes me think back to Atomic Habits. And if you haven't read / listened to Atomic Habits yet, put it on your to-do list, because that one, I'm telling you, for me anyways, it was such a game changer to the way that I thought about things and approached things. And for the longest time, I had kind of poo-pooed small action steps because I'm like, that's not enough. Like what I want to do, where I want to be, where I want to go is big, right? Like I need to take big steps, but you can't.
Right. I mean, you can, I guess. I don't know.
You can take a couple, but like
Right.
that's not going to be the thing that actually it's not sustainable. And it's not making change. Change has to be so incremental for it to actually be sustainable and get you to the place that you want to go. And it took me a long time to really come to terms with that.
Well, and I think it's counterintuitive.
It's very counterintuitive.
So I think it makes sense that this isn't something that is, well, like I said, it's counterintuitive. So, it's different than what we expect. There we go. Look at me trying to do multitask because I don't know why our names were purple.
That was kind of bothering to me too. It was something that happened on your phone last week.
Yeah, I just fixed it. So anyway, that's why I was a little bit distracted there because you're right. Multitasking is a myth. I know this, but that was really bothering me. So anyway, I got that taken care of. Whew, we got
rough. Nicole back on board.
Right. Sorry.
It's the small things.
It is the small things. And that's exactly what we're talking about because that was going to bug me and keep me from being present in this moment. So I love it. And you're right. These small incremental, I feel like this is something we talk about regularly. Like take small steps. Like don't overwhelm ourselves because I get overwhelmed very easily. Very easily.
Or if you're someone like me, I feel like I'm not going to get overwhelmed.
Of course not.
So if you're hearing Nicole talking, you're like, oh, that's not me. I don't need to do that. I don't get overwhelmed. Check yourself on that because that was definitely me for a long time. I was like, these things don't apply to me.
Right. I can do this. Yeah. And, I think.
But this, to me, like the idea of the small efforts repeated day in and day out, it's kind of like, does anybody bake? It's kind of like when you bake like puff pastry or croissant. Like you want a ton of very thin layers all stacked up together. And that's what gets you where you want to go. You can't make a croissant by just rolling out the dough one time and saying, that's good. It's a nice big step. It's also a nice big chunk. We need thin layer, like painting a wall. This is very applicable across many, many things. Like you can't just slap on one big coat and call it good. We need a slow build.
That's right. And let time dry each layer and like all of the things, it's so funny because I feel like this has been the bane of my existence for most of my life, struggling with this whole just get it done, like do the whole thing and get it done.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't want to say I don't. I'm working on improving my patience. Right? Because that's really what I think for me, that's what it boils down to is that I don't want this to drag out and take forever. Like I want to get it done and I want to get it done now. And if that means I have to, paint everything or, whatever that is, then I want to just do it that way. And historically, it has been challenging for me to sit in the details and be patient with the process.
Yeah. Same. Can relate.
Yeah.
But I will say that, so when we talk about small efforts, how small is small? Well, probably half the size of whatever just jumped to your mind. You want it to be so small that your immediate reaction to it is, oh, that's no problem. I can totally do that. That's how small we're talking when we're talking about taking something big and breaking it up into a lot of tiny parts. So this actually serves us in multiple ways. So the first one, of course, is to help take away that overwhelm. But another piece too is that helps to take a big, complex goal or task and figure out how we're going to actually accomplish it and work it into our schedule. If we have a project, let's just focus on a project that we anticipate is going to take, I'm getting a lot of crazy noise. Okay. Oh, I wonder if they're like cutting grass or something by Nicole. Okay, anyways, if we have a project that like we estimate is going to take 8 hours or something, we can't put 8 hours on our schedule straight all in one day. More than likely. I mean, if you can, hallelujah. I don't know how your day is structured like that, but mine I know is constantly interrupted with calls and meetings and client work. And so by that very nature, if I want to do a big task, I have to find a way that I can break it down into smaller blocks so I can get it on the schedule and get it done, because I don't have the luxury of just one project. That does sound really nice though. Like just working on one project.
Right? Imagine that. I know what a world that would be.
But another reason that this serves us is not just for the practicality, just making up words now, practicality of scheduling, but it also, when we chunk out a large task into small pieces, we get little dopamine hits every time that we complete a piece of that. So if you're doing the same amount of work, wouldn't you rather have more fun with it? And when you break it up into really small pieces and you get those little like micro accomplishments, that does a couple things. Number one, it puts you in a space of positivity because it makes you focus on your accomplishments through the process instead of just, oh, I have all of this process ahead of me. Number two, though, that good feeling and accomplishment starts to build momentum. And do you know what is a byproduct of momentum? Motivation. So many people believe that you need motivation to get started on a project. No. Motivation is actually a byproduct of doing. So that is something that we can't wait around for. We actually have to start doing to create it. However, it is very addictive, which is a great thing. So as you start to get these little micro accomplishments and you get those little dopamine hits, and then you start to get that motivation, you by that very nature just want to continue going on with it, which is where it makes it very difficult to have to break it up. But
right. But this is why on the Wednesday calls, we always start with wins. Because the goal is that all through our day, we should be day, week, month, whatever. We should be hitting these little goals, right? These little achievements, and we've got to celebrate them because they will get lost in the big picture if we don't, right? It's super important, no matter how small it is. If you checked it off, look, I don't know about you guys. I'm a list gal.
Yes.
I mean, I am a list gal. Like, give me a list and I am busy. Okay. And so every time, I know a lot of us will relate to this. You got to use colored ink. If you use pen and paper, you got to use the check marks in Word documents so that you can literally like click the check box and the check box turns green and puts a line through something. Like, that moment is so important to me. I cannot tell you how important that moment is when I do that, when I get things accomplished and done, no matter how big or small it is. So yes, repeating these small little things day after day after day are the things that keep us motivated and moving in the right direction. And not only that, but they are actually achievements. Like, this isn't a trick.
Right? This isn't just focusing on trying to like give us something to temporarily feel good about. No, it's for real. Like, you're literally seeing your progress in front of you, because like Nicole said, it can be hard to lose sight of, particularly if you are working towards, if you have like a big 90-day goal for the quarter. That's a long time, and it can really start to feel like you're putting in a lot of time and effort, but oftentimes in the beginning of projects, we're not seeing the fruits of our labor right away.
Right.
So it can then start to become difficult, and the ego can start to show up and say, you're doing all this work and it's not even worth it. And then that can kind of lead you to, or considering scrapping it, or, calling it quits too soon. That's like the farmer who goes out and plants all his seeds and waters them, and next week goes, nothing grew here.
Right?
Like, sometimes we have to decide in advance for ourselves that we know this is going to be a time commitment before we do start to see the fruits of our labor. And so setting up systems to help keep ourselves in the right frame of mind to be able to continue to do the actions. Because let me also tell you, I don't know if you've found this true in your life, but for me, I know that if I am going through my, I follow the same philosophy with Nicole, think once, execute daily, and I'm going through my execution list. If I have any thoughts in the back of my mind that I don't even really feel like this thing here that I'm doing is working, it's not going to work.
Right?
Because that mentality is going to affect the quality and the level to which I perform that specific task. We get what we expect. So if you expect that this item isn't helping you, isn't serving you, isn't being fruitful, that's exactly what's going to happen, because you're kind of self-sabotaging that. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right? Yeah, so true. So true. This is why Mindset Monday is so important. Like, this is why we show up every week and we're like, okay, get our minds in the right place, so that as we go through our week, as we're executing, we know that I know this particular quote is going to keep me focused on all of those little things.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have it on the top of my schedule for the week.
Kayla, I put mine in my planner as well. Like, right next to it says daily affirmation, and this is the affirmation that I will use all week to keep me focused, which actually is going to be super helpful, because coming back from vacation, there's a lot of little things.
I bet.
There's a lot of little things that so I just need to keep working through the little things, knowing that that's going to, and hey, you know what? The other thing that I want to say about this is that when we do this and when we trust the process, crazy things happen. I want to tell you, I was on vacation last week. I was just looking at my Clockify. I literally worked last week 5.5 hours, and that was just bare bones. We did the circle, we did Mindset Monday, we did some open office hours for my paid programs. So 5.5 hours, and I got 2 new clients. Now, I'm not saying like literally I can't take vacation every week and have that happen. But what it speaks to is every day that I show up in my business and I am doing these things and I am doing the little things day in and day out, it does build a sales pipeline that can produce, with me not in the office, long enough to take a break and recharge my batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And I attribute that absolutely to this, right? To this very thing. Because when I am in the office, when I am working, I am doing these repeated things every single day. The follow-up on my sales leads, the all of the little things. And it was fantastic to get those and to see those new clients coming through and get prepping for onboarding while I was out of the office.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, this stuff is real. It's real and it works. And don't give up before it works for you. That's what anyway,
Yeah, so don't be the farmer that uproots his seeds because they didn't grow yet.
That's right. Make sure you're tending to them and that you give them time. Because I will say that that's not something that happened overnight. Like, I've been in business a long time, so but it will come. And like I said, I attribute it to that. So Let me look at my notes. I actually did do notes for today, but I haven't
Look at
even
you.
looked at them yet. And I know.
Dang, it's 9:22.
Oh, I know, right? Okay, so one of the things that I did write in my notes that I do want to make sure that we talk about is this idea that consistency beats intensity every single time.
Oh, yes.
Right? You know, because I think that it's easy to think about, I need to be very intense and I need to work on this for an hour and a half. And, you know, again, kind of making the step too big, I think is what that is.
Do you know where that comes from?
Ooh, talk to me.
The ego.
Ooh, of course.
The ego wants to feel good and look at me, look what I can do, look how hard I can work. And it's like, cool, bro. Nobody asked for that. Let's go sit down.
Right. Go sit down somewhere. That's right. I love it.
And you can think about it. You can even take a step away from work for a minute, but just think about it like in your life.
Yeah.
Like the people who matter the most to you are not the ones who show up one time and throw a great party. It's those people that you can call and talk to and, you know, work on that relationship week over week. Those are the ones where the value is. Again, small layers. It's all about the little things in life. Like all of this coordinates together. If we stop to think about it, like we can see evidence of this in other areas of our life. I know that that's something that's been helpful for me as I challenge some of those previously held self-limiting beliefs, like the intensity. That was one for me. I'm sure that would come as a shock to everybody listening that I am a recovering intensity junkie, but
right. Well, me too. We've talked about like the whole idea of, you know, I did the mini Indy last year, and the year before I literally cried because my kids who are running the half marathon are like, you guys should come do this with us. And I'm like, I can't even walk a mile. Are you insane? And so a year later, I was able to do that. I'm about to do our second one this coming weekend. And it was literally, it started with, I'm going to put my shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't even like the goal, like the little step wasn't even to walk yet. It was to get dressed and put my shoes on first thing in the morning. And then now it even happened to me today. This is no joke. Like I got up and I was like, oh, I don't really have time to walk this morning. All of the things in my head. And so, but before I knew it, I was dressed and had my shoes on. And then once you have your shoes on, you're kind of like,
well, I might as well walk.
I might as well take the dog. Well, it didn't even go there, Kayla. This is how little these things are. Like at first I was like, well, I might as well just go ahead and take the dogs out. That was it. So I was out. Then next thing I know, I'm outside with the dogs. And I'm like, well, I might as well just go for a walk. I'm out here already. Right. And so I did. I walked for 1.5 miles and then came back and had my coffee. But what I'm saying is when we do these things, they build on each other in a way that they're so easy, right? Like before I knew it, I had my shoes on. Well, I've got my shoes on. I might as well go outside. Well, I'm outside. I might as well go for a walk. Like it just was so easy. And by the time I got back home, I was like, this is crazy. I know that this is a result of building these repeated little tiny, easy steps that are achievable without even thinking. Right.
And listening to you telling that story, how many times did you say the word easy?
A lot, I think.
A lot, like at least 5 or 6.
It was easy.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's such a takeaway here because we also, especially in this culture, tend to hold this belief that if it's easy, it's not valuable.
Ooh, right.
And I would challenge that because I actually have come to believe that the easier you can make something for you to say yes to, the more likely it is you're going to be successful.
Right? Yeah. For sure.
Because it's so funny because I was just having this conversation with my husband last night. So to be like open and candid, I've never been somebody who I've never considered myself athletic. I've never had like a workout routine. my body just kind of like works typically and is considered to be like a healthy weight area. But Nicole.
Oh, is it loud again?
Yeah. Ooh, that was hard to think. Okay. But I've never been an athletic person or like have a routine or anything like that. And it's something that I've really wanted to change about myself, but that's a very big, overwhelming kind of thing. I joined a gym that has classes included in the membership. And I felt that that would be important for me to help have some built-in accountability and structure. And to me anyways, it's a lot harder to come up with excuses to stay in bed when I literally signed up to be in the class. So like there's an expectation. Now, what would happen if I signed up and didn't show up? Absolutely nothing. But that level of accountability and check-in is helpful for me. And another thing that I believe is going to make this journey into fitness sustainable when it wasn't before is that I'm really excited about the classes and I'm interested in that. And there's like a variety of things there. And it's easy for me to say yes to. It doesn't feel like such a big to-do or chore because I want to do it. And I have found that willpower, amongst other things, is a finite resource. We wake up every morning. You hear a lot in the chronic illness community about the concept of spoons and how many spoons you have. And this is all many different ways to illustrate the same thing. But you wake up in the morning with only so much willpower. And if you can set up your day to make it as easy as possible to say yes to the things you have predetermined are going to get you where you want to be, then you will have enough willpower to get through them all and maybe still have a little bit left over at the end of the day, so that all of your goals and missions aren't feeling like such an uphill battle in a to-do. Like there's so much value in making it easy and making it fun. Like that's how we get the things done. Like at the end of the day, we talk about the difference between the intuitive mind and the ego brain. At the end of the day, the ego brain, the toddler, the I don't wanna, or I want ice cream for dinner, that piece of our mind, we can't completely disconnect and annex. So it would be nice sometimes.
I know,
but
right?
Honestly, in my opinion, the more that we can kind of placate it, the better. Like that's kind of working in harmony. Like we're not provoking the ego to stand up and say, no, I don't wanna, if we've selected things that feel easy and fun and are in alignment with where we're trying to go.
Right. I love this. And I think that it is so powerful. I can't help but want to know, what's everybody going to do? Like, what's the one thing that you're going to work on doing daily to, to move you forward? What's the one thing the little thing, like what are your shoes?
Yeah.
I want to know what your shoes are. What are you doing? To move that way and to create. That was loud.
Yes, it was. You're just full of interruptions.
I did not know what's happening here today. Like I'm like, it's not like this typically. So if this is your first time, just know, like this is not normal. But anyway, we'll get through it. In fact, I don't even remember what I was going to say. I was challenging. I want to know what everybody's
what your little pieces are. Yeah.
If you haven't, thing is.
And if you haven't read or listened to Atomic Habits yet, that is your homework. Go get started on that. You can, if you have Spotify, it is on Spotify, and you can listen to it in little bits every time you get in the car or washing the dishes, walking the dogs.
Yeah.
Listen to it, let it permeate. And then start to figure out how you can break down these action items in your life. If that's something you guys need help with, reach out to us because we are fantastic with strategic planning
Yes.
in your business, in your personal life, whatever it is,
Yeah.
we've got a strategy.
Right? So true. Love it. In fact, we've got the strategic planning workshops coming up in June. So just know we'll be able to help you out with that there. All right. So that's going to, I think, bring us to the end of today. We are super grateful for you showing up here and hanging out with us while we kind of get our minds right. Looking very much forward to hearing about what your little things are that you're going to like implement daily and start repeating, because once you get them on repeat, they become easier and achievable, and they add up to some amazing successes. And I can't wait to see what those are for you in your practice, in your life. So have a fantastic week. Make sure that you show up on Wednesday for the circle. What are we talking about? Oh, we're doing medical billing Q&A session. So if you have medical billing questions, make sure that you're there at the call. We'll get those answered for you live. And then we'll be back here next Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Another day, another quote. How about that? There we go. Another day, another quote. We will see you back here, guys. Have a great